Clint here from driver 33. Wally?
Let's try to give Clint the call. Hey, Clint, this is Wally up in the booth. You got a copy? Clint Boyer, this is Wally up in the booth. You got a copy? Not having too much.
Got 4,300, guys. 4,700, second gear's the number. Yeah, I got you, Wally.
Okay, man, sorry about that. Hey, after last week, which I know was a disaster for you guys, you're coming back to a really great racetrack for you. You know how to get around this place. I guess the question is, does your car turn in the middle? Because that's what it needs to do here.
Yeah, you know, that's what we were working on. Actually, as the practices went on, the second practice in the heat of the day, everybody kind of bobbed a turn in the center of the corner, which is very, very crucial here. But more importantly, you've got to be able to get to the throttle and stay on the throttle, and that's the biggest thing. That's the game changer right there. If we can do both, we're going to be as dominant as we've been here before. But Good Sam Chevrolet is, you know, pretty good. Just had a lot of fun this weekend. We got to make sure we cap it off with a good run here.
You know how to do it at this place, Clint. Good luck.
Thanks, bud.
We wish Clint the best of luck here today, and we send it down the pit lane one more time before we go green, beginning with Chris Neville.
Well, Adam, David Ruderman is coming off his best finish of the year, a second at Kentucky, and he and Rodney Childers really feel like this team has turned a corner. Their aero package is where they want it, and Rodney said he has really figured out what the chassis setup needs to be and how to change it. And David Ruderman has never led a lap here at New Hampshire, but it looks like today he might have the car to do that. Ralph?
I spoke with Jimmy Johnson just before he got in the car. He said we were slow when we unloaded. That's why we didn't qualify well. But in final practice yesterday, they hit on something. He likes where the car is at. He thinks it's strong enough to win. Something he's done here 3 times, Matt.
Kurt Busch has 3 wins as well here on the Magic Mile, and you can hear his confidence during countdown to green, just about his team's turnaround. This racetrack, more than any other in the circuit, you feel the sense of urgency from the drop of the green. You can't make a mistake during any segment, because if you get behind, it's a lot like your GPA in school. It's tough to make up. Let's go over to my good buddy, Larry McReynolds.
Well, Matt, there are drivers that are in right now with 8 races to go till we get to that chase. But you know what? There's some that's there. They need a win. And Marty Snyder, how about our pole sitter? He wants to get in by winning a race.
That's right. They desperately want to win. How desperately does this team need a win right now, Tony?
We got to win. That's the only way to secure yourself a shot in this chase is to win a race. So we'll see what happens today. The U.S. Army Chevrolet's been good all weekend. I'm proud of everybody at Stewart Haas Racing. 2 great race cars this weekend. So both of us need a win pretty bad, but I think we need it worse than the 14, so we'll take it.
All right, Ryan Newman says, hey, we need it worse than you, boss man. Help us get the victory lane, Adam.
Thank you, Marty. And Newman looking good as we look at our race analysis. 318 miles, 301 laps. Pit road speed 45 miles per hour. You see the pit window. No drivers had to drop to the rear. Teammates on the front row. Green flag in the air, and we are underway at New Hampshire. Great jump for Newman. Kurt Busch early moved to the inside of Tony Stewart to the runner-up position. Kurt was good here in practice on Friday, good again yesterday, and I think driver 22 serving notice earlier. He came to play.
I think Stewart's car is pretty good, too, based on what I saw in practice. Those guys ran a long time, and there wasn't much of a fall-off on that car. They ran within, I think, 0.3 of a second of their first lap when they ran like 50 laps on those tires.
And I think, you know, at that point in time, Kurt got position on Tony. Tony just sees there's no reason for those guys to race for second and third side by side and let the 39 of Ryan Newman get away from him.
Saw Montoya go around Jeff Gordon. He feels good as well.
And don't forget, you don't want to race really hard right when your tires are like this. This is the worst the cars are going to be. As the pressures come up and the cars start to feel better, you can start making moves like Tony is right now. But that first lap or so, you're just trying to get the pressures built up in the tires.
Yeah,
look at how. I thought he was sideways.
No, I did too for a minute. But when he comes up, you know, Tony lets him go by, lets him run a lap in front. Tony's tire pressure comes up exactly like you're saying, Wally. Comes up and he rolls through the center and drives back up under.
David Ruderman, so good last week at Kentucky, a runner-up finish. He rides 4th in the early going. see Paul Menard in the top 10. And here's Joey Logano, his only Cup win coming here at New Hampshire, and he's working over Martin Truex Jr. inside the top 15.
You know, we talked about it earlier. I mean, we were talking about the race. You've got to make something happen in these first few laps. When you've got good tires, the pressure comes up. About the third or fourth lap is really your best laps on these new tires. As the pressure comes up, you get the good out of them. Then they begin to fall off, and you just settle in. So these guys are making some moves early in the run where before they wouldn't.
And you see the 31 now. 31, I think, gets a little sideways here and probably gets tagged. But he's been struggling. I've been watching him since they threw the green flag. The 31's pressures are not coming up as fast as he likes, because he has his hands full for the first 5 laps. Looks like everybody else's car's working better faster.
A lot better faster. And I don't think Juan got into him right there. I think Juan just kind of got up, and as he drifted out, he got a little free, and Juan already had position on him.
And we got a battle up front. Tony Stewart around teammate Ryan Newman for the race lead.
Really wasn't much of a battle. I think the 39 just let this teammate and boss go by there on that one.
Nothing wrong with that. Nope. He gets a lead a lap. We'll see if Tony pulls over and lets him go back by. We'll know that's what it was. But I don't think Tony's ever pulled over for anybody.
Newman and Stewart, two of the drivers that need something to happen this weekend or over the course of the next 8 races to solidify their spot in the chase, and both have been very good over the last couple of days here at New Hampshire. Brad Keselowski, another driver to keep your eye on. He is 5th here in the early going. And Kyle, we talked about those guys that started deep in the field. Jimmy Johnson, one of those.
Yeah, and when you start that far back, you know, when you start back in 22nd plus, when you look at that, you know, everybody's bunched up at the start of this race, and you can make a couple of positions and gain a couple of positions, but the closer to the front you get, the harder it gets, not only because they're good cars, but because your car has given up, your tires have given up, and it's just tougher. So those guys, as I said before, they've got to make something happen in these first few laps.
On board with Kyle Busch, riding in the 18th position, off the wall, and a little kiss here.
And really, this is pretty much normal for the 18 car. Yeah. He pretty much does that at least once a race.
And Kyle, at the exact same place, if you remember Friday in practice, where he hit the wall.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. Wally picked him to win at Kansas or at Kentucky and said the only guy that's been in victory lane and through the grass and in the wall, and you picked him. And so he's already got his wall move right here. But you know what? I think that's just, he's absolutely just jumping on the get, trying to make something happen in these first 8 or 10 laps.
Tony Stewart started on the front row with teammate Ryan Newman. He grabbed the lead away at lap 6, and he's been out front ever since. 9 down here at New Hampshire.
NASCAR Sprint Cup racing from New Hampshire International Speedway on TNT is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink Possible. By DirecTV. To get the best offer of the year, call 1-800-DirecTV. By 30 minutes or less. In theaters August 12th. Not yet rated. By Coca-Cola. Open a Coke and enjoy the race. And by Ram Trucks. Guts. Glory. Ram.
For the 8th straight time here at New Hampshire, Tony Stewart leading a Sprint Cup Series race. Took over the top spot 5 laps in and has led the last 11 circuits of the 301 that make up today's event here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Right behind him, teammate and pole sitter Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, David Rudiman, Brad Keselowski complete the top 5. And here's Jeff Burton working over Juan Pablo Montoya. This is the battle for 7th.
You know, we saw, and Wally was talking about the Childress cars, we saw the 31 struggle when the race started, but we saw Montoya moving forward when the race started in the first 6 or 7 laps. Here now, after you've run 18-20 laps, as the pressure comes up and the cars equalize, then obviously the 31 car has a handle on the center of the corner and pretty decent grip coming up off the corner.
And they could have, maybe they started with a little bit less air pressure than, say, the 42, because they're working on the long runs. That's one thing, obviously, you try to do at a racetrack like this. You want your car to work really good the last 20-25 laps, and it's harder than it sounds. Just you'll see a lot of cars take off at the start, and then really fall off.
I'll tell you, A.J. Allmendinger moving through the field nicely. This is the battle for 11th as he goes around Regan Smith for position. Allmendinger started 17th and already knocking on the door of the top 10.
And that's pretty impressive to come from there to move up this early in the race, because we've not seen a lot of big movers so far.
And this place is, you know, for this racetrack is really, it is challenging because you've got to get your car to work through the center of the corner. And it really is, it's really hard to get a car to do that because you get in the corner, you get off the gas, you put on the brake, and you let the car roll. And as soon as you want to get on the gas as soon as you can. As we ride with the 29 here, Harvick, just listen to the way, you know, he works the throttle and where he picks the throttle up. He's going to get off the throttle going down in here to 3. He's on the brake right now. Now he's off the brake. Let it roll, roll, roll. Now he's got traffic in front of him, but see how he picks up the throttle nice and easy, and he had to get off it there because the car pushed a little bit. As soon as he got on the throttle, it quit turning. He had to jump out of the gas so the car would turn again.
And what amazes me, as you people are listening at home, listen to how little he's really on the gas wide open. Not yet. There he is wide open right there. He's almost all the way off the corner before he's on the gas. He just runs it in a straight line, full throttle. The rest of the time, he's part throttling it.
Because if you jumped on the gas, say right here, you'd bust down the wall with your right front.
Harvick started 18th today. Not much movement for him early, Matt.
Great observation by our guys in the booth, our former drivers. That's exactly what Kevin Harvick told Gil Martin 3 laps ago. He says, my car is loose on entry into the middle. It's a little bit tight on exit, but it's getting much better as every lap we complete here on this mild racetrack.
Kevin Harvick in 17th. Here's Brad Keselowski in the top 5, and Jeff Gordon, a 3-time winner at New Hampshire, right behind him as they work off turn 2. This is one of those places where you don't just go up and pass a guy. You set it up, you set it up, you set it up, and then maybe 3, 4, 5 laps later you get by, as Vickers does here.
Yeah, it's hard to complete the pass because you got to get past somebody before you got in the exit of the corner. That was a perfect deal right there by the 83 car, but it's hard to do if you're coming off side by side off the corner. Usually it's just a drag race down until the next corner.
Fans, you voted at NASCAR.com/. Oh, there goes Kyle Busch.
A little contact there between the 48 and 18.
Big time slide. Jimmy Johnson continues his rally to the inside of Kyle Busch, who is our Pizza Hut fan favorite driver. Won here in nationwide competition yesterday. He also has a Sprint Cup Series win here at New Hampshire. Bit of a struggle for driver 18 today.
Yeah, I don't think that, obviously, I don't believe that was intentional by Jimmy Johnson. In fact, he kind of got off the gas and gave the 18 that spot back, even after getting him sideways. Just that's kind of an unsaid code between drivers. If you feel like you've done something like that to another driver by accident, see, Jimmy just gets on the gas pretty good here. Just slides up in the 18. That was not intentional. So I think Jimmy Johnson said, hey, you know, check up, give you a spot back. I'll try to pass you clean now.
And those two drivers running 19th and 20th on track. The man out front, Tony Stewart. His advantage, a 1.5 seconds over second place, Ryan Newman. NASCAR fans voted at sprint.com/speed, and they want to ride shotgun with Tony Stewart today. So we go on board via the Evo Cam. Check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile and the Evo only from Sprint at sprint.com/speed. And as you can see, Tony Stewart still out front, but he's got someone in front of him. That would be the pace car. Debris brings out our first caution of the day at lap 29. Pit road is open, and I am sure as we are just shy of halfway through a fuel run, we will see plenty of takers and plenty of different strategies. Chris Neville gets our pit coverage started.
And David Ruderman going to come in, just going to take 2 tires. He's looking for a little bit of grip in the center of the corner, but Rodney Childers said 2 tires and fuel. Ralph?
Tony Stewart pulls into his box. His car was getting tighter and tighter with every lap. He said the forward bite was still hanging there. Slight air pressure change, Ralph.
They're going to make a track bar adjustment to help the handling for Brad Keselowski. No tires and fuel. He's away. Marty.
Ryan Newman, middle of your screen. They left the debate up to where to be 4 or 2 tires. 2 tires last second. Ryan Newman will win the race off pit road. The car was a little loose. It was an air pressure adjustment to tighten it up. Adam.
And the race off pit road, Ryan Newman up a position, and Brad Keselowski, no tires, jumps 4 spots. Some guys stayed out. We'll reset the running order after a break.